bring the solar power to the earth because of clean power, clean energy. It's a fantastic thing. But tell me, can the human beings live without war? Can the human beings live without war? This question was echoing me throughout last night. I changed my topic. What I prepared for you, I changed my topic. So I hope you don't mind it. But one thing before that I will say, the humanity needs a great vision to forget all the conflicts and move towards a common goal of peace and prosperity for all the global citizens. That's the point our ambassador also said, a world, a better place to live. To develop further, we visualize the birth of the world vision leading to livable planet Earth. What we want is livable planet Earth. But it is attacked. It is attacked by war, and also it is attacked by the environment. The planet is going through two problems: war, and man is doing what type of problem creating the earth environmental damage. So the livable planet Earth, according to me, the vision will be the greater than any other vision so far envisioned by the humanity. Am I right? Yes. The livable planet Earth vision will be a greater than any other vision so far envisioned by the humanity. You agree with me? Yes or no?
Please explain.
Yes.
Please explain.
Because I don't interact with people.
Yes.
Now, morning when I visited the JSS Spiritual Mission, I was with Swamiji, Mahasattur Swamiji, and we discussed how this livable planet Earth, the JSS mission can contribute. But I was very happy. The JSS mission, JSS Spiritual Mission, situated in a place 90% filled with beautiful greenery. It's a very livable place. If anybody want to go Vanaprastha, you should go there. If anybody want to do sannyasam, you should go there. I offered myself. I'm a brahmachari, but the next stage will be probably. But I think beautiful place. Beautiful place, beautiful idea comes from. Beautiful place, beautiful ideas come. Beautiful ideas can generate how human beings can be shaped, how human beings can, all the elements of other things can be removed, and the good spiritual human beings can be brought. Because our earth needs prosperity. Also our earth needs good human beings. Good human beings, how we generate? Only through spiritual mission. So one of the great missions today we have on the planet Earth is JSS Spiritual Mission, and definitely we have to support it and work for it, whatever they can. Now friends, I am delighted to address and interact with you, intellectuals of Maryland like you. My greetings to all of you. Dear friends, when I see many distinguished participants, intellectuals from various walks of life in Maryland, I am thinking what thoughts I can share with you. Friends, I am thinking of discussing with you and to interact with you on the thought based on one question. What is that question? The question is, great vision for the nation for bringing peace and prosperity to the world. Great vision for the nations for bringing peace and prosperity to the world. It's okay? The topic is okay?
Yes.
Now, dear friend, first of all, I would like to narrate an incident which happened in India some time back. I met a great sage who has performed tapas for nearly 8 decades. Through the intense tapas, he has freed himself from passion, anger, love hate. Presence of such a great soul in the country helps to spread peace and promote spiritual prosperity. He was a beacon light that attracted lesser mortals towards him to become an enlightened soul. India was fortunate to have Acharya Mahaprajnaji to touch millions of souls. Even though he is physically not with us, he is spiritually guiding millions of followers. I founded him. I closely worked with him and wrote a book with him. I found in him three characteristics of his tapas. Walk, he walked millions, 100,000 kilometers. Acquire and give. He walked with undeterred dedication and concentration. Acquired knowledge from everyone he meets as well as from the nature. And radiated hope to the society through his writings, actions and practice. He was a towering light of knowledge that purifies every soul that comes into contact. I myself experienced this when I met Acharya Mahaprajnaji at his ashram in 1999 at around midnight. When I met him in the midnight, I'm going to give that experience so that you feel something is there. When I met him in the midnight, he prayed 3 times with his distinguished Jain devotees for the welfare of the nation and the people. After the prayers, I still remember he gave a divinely message to me which still reverberates in my mind. He said, Kalam, God bless you for what you have done with your team. The God Almighty has a bigger mission for you, and that is why you are here with me tonight. I know our country is a nuclear nation now. The mission for you is greater than what you and your team have done, and it is greater than any human being had ever done. The nuclear weapons are proliferating in tens and thousands in the world. I command with all the divine blessing, you and your only team to find a solution to make the same nuclear weapon ineffective, insignificant, and politically inconsequential.
No.
Really a challenge. When Acharya finished his great advice, there was a pin drop silence. It looked to me as though the confluence of heavens concurred with a tragical message. This command shook me for the first time in my about 70 years of life at that time. Now I am 81 fellow. It had since then become a challenge working on me, and it has become a motto of my life. World has a good news that a new START treaty has been signed by President Obama and Dmitry Medvedev in Russian President now April 8, 2010, which envisages nearly 50% reduction in the nuclear weaponry. In 7 years' time, India propagates total disarmament in the world, leading to a nuclear weapon-free planet Earth. When I am with you, I would like to recite one Kural from my favorite Tamil classic composed over 2,200 years back by Thiruvalluvar. The said poet has devoted one full chapter of 10 Kurals out of 1,330 Kurals to tapas. It says, Than Uyirdan Arapetrana Yenaya Manuyirallam Tolu. It means, with the power of tapas, if one discards the attachment of one's life, the ahangar in him, then all lives in the universe will bow before him. Today, when I am going to discuss with you on the topic, can we evolve a world without war? Can we evolve a world without war? That's what I'm going to talk to you. I join the lives of the universe to pay more reverence, to respect Acharya Mahaprajnaji and our Sutur Mahaswamiji. They are the role model for millions of people in India. Now friends, question, a world without war looks to me is a phenomena aspired by many societies. paleoanthropologist in Africa. He says, advances in genetics demonstrating great similarity in the genome of man and animals shows that the limbic brain perhaps is the cause of all conflicts within and outside. The limbic brain for animal also is God, man also is God. The limbic brain is a part of our brain responsible for emotion, behavior, motivation, long-term memory, and ability to discriminate between their own and others. I have reviewed various phases of human life and asked myself why wars have taken place. It has 5 dimensions. It has 5 dimensions. Number 1, to show the heroism to the world. Alexander the Great, Genghis Khan, Timur, and become a supreme father. Second reason was greed of wealth and land in the earlier society, and greed for oil and many war of today and tomorrow. The greed of wealth and the land. India's 5,000 years of history. India was ruled by Indians only for 600 years, till 1947. That is Chandragupta Maurya dynasty. 600 years. Otherwise, many people came and ruled, including British and French and Portuguese. Now, secondly, establishing a religious supremacy. For that also war was there. Fourth one, political ideologies resulting in conflict and war, including nuclear war. Now, future will be economic warfare. So you'll think this is the situation. And now, new dimension, 21st century, war or peace. Now, in the 21st century, we are in the midst of a great transition from politico-religious conflict graduating into economic warfare due to globalization. In this situation, can we see some bright spots which can reduce the conflicts and promote a global peaceful society which works for unity in diversity, and a formal mechanics exist for preventing any armed conflict devastating property and humankind. Major development in the last 2 decades gives me a confidence that it's possible to work towards world free from war. The JS spiritual mission is definitely one of the positive side. My observation is based on the following technological and ideological development which have taken place in different parts of the world. Birth of the internet, connecting the world affairs and global business. Then formation of a European Union. European nations were fighting against each other, as you know, for over a century. And have now emerged as a European Union with 80 members of European Parliament. They have a European Parliament. The message out of this is regional cooperation is taking place. Example, ASEAN, SAARC and the EU. Of course, the good example is the European Union because they work for prosperity of the Europeans and prosperity of the peace of Europe. They need to it has to be intensified as in the lines of European Union. My team and I have experienced how core competence of our 2 nations and multiple nations can be brought together to the benefit of participating nations. Example, we work with 2 nations. There is one is Russia, another is India, a program called Promote. A joint venture between India and Russia resulted in the economic gain of the participating nation, India and Russia, and also resulted in the development of a competitive world-class system. For this program, India and Russia invested $300 million and each $150 million, and the joint venture resulted in a potential order value of $10 billion. It is a win-win situation for both the nations. In another international program, between India and 53 African nations, we have been able to create a Pan-African e-network, and he was responsible for that. He was one of the very important members there. Pan-African e-network, which has brought tele-education, telemedicine, and round-the-clock connectivity between and among nation and India. India invested about $125 billion for this program and shared the core competence with the African nation, resulting in happiness of all the African nations. With the emergence of cyber warfare, it is possible that the traditional conflicts of conventional warfare, including nuclear warfare, may become obsolete. And a new form of cyber warfare can paralyze the whole national and regional economy, it can be done without any preparation. This itself will be a deterrent for any country to initiate such cyber war. Now friends, let us ask ourselves, what is the motivation today for economically developed nation, or economically developing nation, or economically developed world? How to bring the nation prosperity through economic superiority and simultaneously assuring peace to the nation, having military power, particularly superiority in the nuclear weaponry. What is the unique vision that will replace military superiority between and among nations? I have a feeling that we need we need a great vision higher than individuals' ideologies, party affiliation, political ambition, and the present technological superiority. Friends, can we visualize what it should be? As I read, the humanity needs a great vision to forget all the conflicts and move towards the common goal for the livable planet here. I think there cannot be any greater vision for the nation other than transforming our planet here to livable. That means, are we living a sustainable world where we have taken less from the nature than what we have given to it? Have we left to the next generation certain new solution for the challenges that they face? Have we made the world more peaceful? Will we be seen as a role model by the next generation? It also means that there is a development of individuals, corporations, society, nations, regions, and the world. As long as there are inequalities of development between urban and rural areas, between neighborhoods, in sharing valuable resources, peace will elude us. Particularly modern technology has made the world a global village. Hence, tolerance for inequalities will also come down. We have to use the same technology to bring global progress with a vision to achieve the same with a consistent mission and program. Hence, corporates, while creating wealth in the classical sense, has to find new opportunities to serve the knowledge society in ways hitherto not imagined. We saw how the economic turbulence originating one part of the globe shook the whole world. The solution may be to find product for 7 billion people of the world so that the whole world will own up business. We will have to find newer methods of cooperation so that core competence of even remote villages can be synergized for competitive products. So everything global must have to be done. Management for 7 billion, water for 7 billion, energy for 7 billion, education for 7 billion, healthcare for 7 billion. With such a thought process, I discussed with my colleagues and formulate the possible distinctive development profile of the nation of the world 2030. 2030, how the world should look like. I was teaching 2 universities, one in USA, another in India, and with research students, scholars, we generated what is called distinctive profile for the nations of the world by 2030. What is that? A world of nation where the divide between rural and urban and rich and poor, developed and developing had narrowed down. A world of nation where there is an equitable distribution and adequate access to energy and quality water. A world where core competence of each nation is identified. Missions synergizing the core competence of different nations lead to economic advantage and faster development for all the societies. A world of nation where all the students of all the societies are imparted education with value system. A world of nation where affordable quality healthcare is available to all. A world of nation where the governance is responsive, transparent, and corruption-free. A world of nation where crimes against women and children are absent and none in the society feels alienated. A world in which every nation is able to give a clean, green environment to its citizens. A world that's prosperous, healthy, secure, devoid of terrorism, peaceful and happy, and continues with a sustainable growth path. A world of nation with creative leadership who ensure effective mechanism to resolve conflicts between nations and societies in a timely manner, keeping overall peace and prosperity of the world as a whole. Out-of-box ideas needed. Friends, for a peaceful and prosperous world, nation will be peaceful and prosperous. For that, the state within the nation The urban, rural areas within the state have to be peaceful and prosperous. Equitable development of nation in sustainable way is a prerequisite for achieving a distinct profile as depicted above. The challenges faced by the nation in dealing with the diverse issues in different countries, sometimes similar way, sometimes differently, call for a new method of collaboration between and among the nation to evolve methods which will not impede the growth and prosperity of other nations. We need to work together to understand and protect against the fury of nature like earthquakes, cyclones, tsunami, flash floods and families. The recent famines, the recent economic turbulence has brought us the need for resilient measures globally to prevent any such setbacks in future. Now friends, we have to combine our vigilance against terrorism of any kind. Of course, we have to fight against common enemies of illiteracy, poverty, drug menace and other diversions for the development. World knowledge prevalence. In a globalized world, there is challenges we face and international, there has to be seamless flow of knowledge across the nation, across the society and across the continents. The nation around the world have to share their core competence and create a pioneering product and service which can bring improved human life to the 7 billion people around the world. We have several examples of individual visionaries motivating a team and realizing a new technologies. They contribute to the development process of the society and create a new markets not even visualized originally. In future, convergence of nano, info, biotechnologies will lead to evolution of a new methods of diagnostic and treatment diseases genetically. So friends, today they call for an innovative partnership between nations where competition and cooperation have to exist globally. Such a cooperation called achieved through the creation of a world knowledge platform. I am promoting what is called world knowledge platform. This world knowledge platform will enable joint design, development, cost-effective production and marketing of a knowledge products in various domains such as water, healthcare, agriculture and food processing, knowledge product, transportation system, particularly eliminating the fossil fuel, the disaster prediction and management, combating climate change and capacity. Attainment of prosperity will be effective only if nations are able to evolve a development system which are sustainable. A model for the integrated rural prosperity with sustained development which is being pursued by government, private institutions in India is called PURA. PURA means providing urban amenities rural area that may be applicable to globally for sustained development of the nation and societies. So with these friends, the prosperity of the next. So in conclusion, I would like to say that, dear friends, I have seen 3 dreams in India which have taken shape as a vision, mission and realization. One is space program of ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, AGDI program of DRDO, Defense Research and Development Organization, and PURA providing urban amenities rural area becoming the national vision. Of course, these 3 programs succeeded in the midst of many challenges and problems. I have worked in all these 3 areas. I would like to convey to you what I have learned on leadership from these 3 programs. What type of leadership? When I see all of you, you will be the leaders in various branches of area. So what I learned, 7 qualities of leadership. Number 1, leader must have the vision. A leader must have a passion to transform the vision into action. Leader must be able to travel into an unexplored path. Leader must know how to manage a success and failure. You can manage your success very well, but failure how to manage. I myself have to deal with that when I was doing my project. Leader must have a courage to take decision. Leader should have a nobility in management. Nobility in management. Management and nobility go together. Is it possible? Leader should have a nobility in management. Every action of the leader should be transparent. Then finally, leader must work with integrity and succeed with integrity. Today, we have in JSS mission, spiritual mission, all the children, young people took an oath. Leader must work with integrity and succeed with integrity. For success in all the mission, it is essential to have leaders who have the traits, as I mentioned, and I would define them as a creative leaders. Creative leadership means exercising the vision to change the traditional role from a commander to coach, manager to mentor, from director to delegator, from one who demands respect to one who facilitates self-respect. With these words, I convey my best wishes to all the members of the assembly here, spiritual mission supporters of Maryland, success in their mission of realizing societal peace and prosperity through confluence of civilization. May God bless you all, friends. Now I can take some questions. Okay? Some questions. Particularly, any thoughts on JS's spiritual mission? Of course, why I talk in this subject